Welcome back, everybody. The conversations that happen between breaks. Someday you might get to see. I think I have some of them recorded.
It's girl talk, so unless you like that kind of thing, whatever. It's good shit.
So now we're going to talk about our Life is Strange Before the Storm, episode 1, which is called Awake. Spoilercast. So as I mentioned on the other side of the break, we're going to be talking about all the stuff. So this is going to spoil everything. If you haven't played this, it is a narrative-driven game. You might want to go play it first. Otherwise, you're along for the ride now. So here we go. Ladies, I just finished this because after we got back from PAX, I got slammed with a bunch of stuff and I just didn't have time. And then Destiny came out and that overtook my life. So I finished this 2 nights ago.
I think we were playing it at the same time. I saw you online. I was like, oh, she's also playing this.
Yeah, and I was so happy with how episode 1 went. So I had the privilege of working with Square Enix over the summer. Just for, full disclosure, they paid me to be on a bunch of panels and to talk to the dev team. And I was a Life is Strange fan before that, and I'm still a Life is Strange fan after that. And I just am really glad that Deck 9 did such an excellent job with it.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
Let's
start
I
spoiling
liked
things.
it, but I didn't love it. I liked it though. I liked it fine.
Why did you not love it?
I didn't love it. I think it was more I felt like it lacked impact, I guess. In the sense that I remember when I was playing through season 1 of Life is Strange. I guess I'll just call it season 1, even though, whatever. And at the end of each one of those episodes being like, what? Having that kind of a moment. And I did not have that here at all.
Okay.
And so that doesn't necessarily mean it's a knock. It's just a different method of storytelling I think they're going for in this episodes. But I don't know. I guess I was kind of expecting more only because that's kind of how it was set up in the other games.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
I also really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that I enjoyed it as much as I did the first episode of season 1 of Life is Strange. I think the reason for that was because in the first Life is Strange, it's kind of a slow opening. And I think that's kind of what you expect. You're a Max, you're kind of understanding who she is as a character. And I really related with Max a lot. And Chloe, there's some moments where I like when all the scenes, including her dad, get me every single time. But Chloe as a character, I don't really relate with her. And I don't feel as connected to her as I do with Max. And I think that's a lot of the reason why I didn't love this as much as I did the first episode of the first season, but I still really enjoyed it.
So I actually like this opening better than the Life is Strange opening, and I'm feeling a great affinity towards Before the Storm because I really like the illusions that it's making, and I feel like more so than with the original Life is Strange, it is really getting into the crazy weeds with symbolism and metaphor, and there's a big thing with Shakespeare's use of the Tempest, which I'll get to later once we've discussed some other plot points. And also just I got playing the first game a little not obsessed, but I was very much into the whole well, why was Rachel Amber so special? Why is she this angel that people are trying to find what's going on? So seeing her sort of in action is something that I wanted to see.
Yeah, so, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they very well executed on kind of introducing her. So the opening scene, is Chloe outside this abandoned mill where she's going to a secret concert for Firewalk, this band that she thinks is hella rad.
Firewalk, which is a Twin Peaks reference.
No, but see, the thing about the hella, which I actually really liked what they did, is they introduced it via Rachel.
Yeah.
So they basically have a line she says something, hella something, and Chloe's like, who says hella?
It's a Cali thing. Yeah.
And I was like, I actually really like that they kind of
hella
played on that, given how people were talking about that word in particular and how awkward it seemed in that story. So
I think what they really nailed with the introduction of their relationship was when I first saw this scene. This is the scene that we played on stage at the E3 Coliseum earlier this summer. When Chloe sees Rachel in this particular scene where Rachel kind of comes to Chloe's rescue from these two skeevy dudes, right? I guess I just assumed that at that point they were already friends, which clearly is not the case, right?
Right.
That's,
No, yeah.
you know,
Right,
Chloe
yeah.
interacting with Rachel for really what feels like the first time, and the thoughts that Chloe puts into her diary, which, by the way, if you didn't take the time to
Oh.
read all of the entries
Oh my
in the
God.
menu system, please go back and do,
Do
it.
it.
It's really heartbreaking.
It really
is.
It's so well done. Like the development that they really give into the psyche of what's going through Chloe's mind is really great. So what I loved about the way that they set this up is I think we can all remember when we were, or maybe you're still in high school, when you had that moment where there was somebody in your class who was the Rachel Amber character, who maybe wasn't as perfect as they're making her out to be, but somebody that you looked up to, somebody that you thought was cool, somebody that you wanted to be friends with. And how they relayed what Chloe was communicating to the player about who Rachel was and what Rachel meant to her, and the new feelings you get, that special like first time feeling, whether it's friendship, whether it's romantic, or whether it's just, you know, somebody that you're like, that person's cool, like I want to hang out with them, like I hope that they think that I'm cool too. And that like nervousness that we all feel when making a friend for the first time
Yeah.
was so excellently done.
And then you spend like the next, like every interaction you have with them trying not to say the wrong thing and
Exactly.
screw it up. And like, I think they got that really well too.
Yeah. So are you guys ladies happy with the conversation choices that you picked?
Okay.
Oh.
First
Oh
choice.
my.
In the beginning, with the skeevy men, you can attack them or you can run.
I
I
ran away.
attacked
Oh, I
him.
attacked.
I ran. 62% of people, this was as of a couple weeks ago, attacked. 38% of people ran.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm one of the runners with you, Britt.
My PPL.
I'm just like, you know what? Get out of Dodge. Just let's leave.
All right. Did you purchase pot from Frank or did you not purchase pot from
I
Frank?
definitely bought pot.
Oh, totally.
I bought pot.
I did too.
And I also paid him off with the stolen money.
Yep.
I also did that too.
Yep. Me too.
So 40% purchased pot, 60% did not.
What I didn't realize is that later on you
It
could have
totally kinda
taken that money and given it to Joyce.
I know.
And I was like, damn it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
You
You
could have.
can.
There was a choice to slip the money,
Money in
that you
her
stole
purse.
in her purse, which I was like,
Oh, I wish I'd done that.
I know,
Yeah, I know.
me too.
It made me
Sorry,
feel. But see,
Mom.
like that's a thing that like this game does really well. It's like you didn't know that was coming, so when you
Yeah.
get there and it's like, damn it, I'm a selfish butthole. Like I could have held on to this and helped my mother. Like that's a really good emotional like impact.
Yeah,
there.
I've really enjoyed the way they. What I do like about this a lot is the way they're fleshing Chloe out. Because when I played the first Life is Strange, I really hated Chloe. I just
Yeah.
thought she was a crappy person. Like,
Same.
Did not relate to her whatsoever. Was like, why is this game even, like? I just didn't want her around. And so that was.
I still think she's like a big butthead. I still think she's being like
She-
way too much of a
She's
brat.
totally a butthead. That's the right word for what Chloe is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She is, but I can understand, like, especially with reading that diary and like feeling some of the pain all of the pain she must feel.
Yeah.
And being a teenager and knowing you don't necessarily have the capability to deal with those emotions, especially if you can't afford therapy, if you can't do any of these things, like they're struggling clearly financially.
Mhm.
So I guess it's just more like, okay, I'm starting to more understand her as a person.
Doesn't mean you have to like her.
Right.
Exactly. And
But-
I don't agree with the choices, that she would make sometimes, but I can understand where she is coming from. And I definitely appreciated that a lot about this first episode.
Yeah. What was
Yeah.
the next choice, Britt?
Okay. The next choice comes down to when you're having a conversation with your mom. You can be nice to Joyce or you can be mean to Joyce.
I was nice.
I was nice to Joyce.
So I believe the mean choice was to tell her how you feel
About
about David.
dickhead?
Yeah.
About how you feel like she's moving way too fast. I went that route. I was completely honest with her.
Okay.
Well, how did that go? Because I'm curious.
It was just like a sadder conversation. Like instead of you being like, I get it, Mom, you're trying your best. It's like, well, this is how I feel. Like it's Chloe. Maybe like you can see it as her being selfish or see it as her just being honest with her mother. And she's just like, this is how I feel about it. And Joyce kind of takes it as like, I know that's how you feel, but like, life, whatever, like I still
Nothing's
miss you. So,
perfect.
like nothing's
Yeah.
perfect, basically. And that's you learning a lesson as opposed to like making your mom feel better.
See, I was concerned about picking that choice because I wasn't sure if she was going to be like full on jerk mode Chloe or not with that. So I just chose the kinder route because I just didn't want to like, I don't want to be mean to your mom. Like,
And what's tricky about this is we've all played The Life is Strange, like the core game. And so we know what happens after this, So I had
Right.
like empathy and sympathy for Joyce. 36% were mean, 64% were nice. backtracking a little bit. Did you put the photo of William on the dresser?
Yes.
I did.
Okay, 71% did that. 29 did not. Did you read Joyce's self-help?
I didn't find it.
Okay.
I don't think. Oh no, I did
didn't-
read
yeah,
that. I did
didn't
read
find
that.
it.
58% of people did, and only 5% of people slipped money into Joyce's purse.
Well, because they had already bought the weed. Yeah.
Well, because the game it sets it up so like those choices are so close together.
Yeah.
You assume as the player that is what they intended.
But this
for
is
you
like
to
the
do.
Mass Effect thing too, though, right? How like you go back and play it differently because you know what the choices are going to be. And you're like, this is what I would have done if I had known. But like that's so reminiscent of life, right? Hindsight
Yeah.
is 2020, right?
Yeah, and that's something that kills me
Can't
about this.
rewind, Max.
Is I am a self-proclaimed save whore, and I like to save every chance I get, and you can't do that in this game. So when you're faced with a tough decision, you have to stick with it.
Yep.
You can't.
Or you can. I mean, you could reload and play the whole thing over if you really
could,
wanted
but
to.
man. Okay, the next choice.
Your choices
then
are your choices.
starts talking about when you get to school as Chloe, and
Ooh, I
there's
messed one of those things
there's
up.
Nathan, there's the guy Elliot who wants you to go to a play with him. There's all these things.
I want to talk about one thing really quick before we get into this, and that is sort of how they've addressed the fact that there is no special feature, quote unquote, like Max's Rewind. Because
So what they've back talk.
yeah. So what they've done instead is they've taken Chloe's smart mouth and amplified it, and so you have conversation key points where you can try and just sass the shit out of someone until they leave you alone. And I was successful on most of them. I failed with the principal.
Oh no.
I did too.
You failed with the principal?
I failed.
Yeah.
I love this new mechanic because it like I think that's where some of the writing really shines.
Yeah.
Like one of the conversations had a really great like bag of dicks comment that she then riffed on for like 3 more comments, and I was just like, this is so good.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So how it kind of works is basically like you have to listen to what the person is telling you, and you like hone in on keywords, and then you can use that to select the options that would retort back in a better way, and then you get like points for it, and you get a certain number of quote unquote correct choices, then you will successfully win the back talk. Or you fail like I did with the principal, and he tells you to go to his office after school,
Yeah,
and
I
that he
got that
smells
too.
pot on you, and you're probably gonna get exposed.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that mechanic, and I think it's because I just am not that person. I'm not the person who like shit talks in that way and who wants to like amp up a situation. I'm a natural like mediator.
Diffuser, yeah.
So whenever like things get heated, I always look for like the calming way to steer the conversation, not like let's ratchet this up and
oh,
see
this is
who
my
wins.
jam.
You know, and so
My jam.
she just
I like
gets
it too.
like she just
So good.
she goes to like you know attitude Chloe, and then she like kicks some sass in there, and then she turns into like full on bitch Chloe by the end of the back talk, and I just like it makes me so uncomfortable because I'm like, why are you being so mean, Chloe?
Because she wants to get what she wants, and she
Yeah,
thinks
but
that that's the only way
Sugar
to do it.
is better than
Yeah, but
vinegar,
that's
or
not
whatever
that's
the
not her.
euphemism
Yeah,
is.
you catch more flies with honey or something.
Yeah.
or
Some
more bees.
choices-
I don't think you want to catch flies.
So, okay, speaking of bitchy choices, did you listen to Skip's demo?
Yes.
I listened to. So this is the other key component of Life is Strange, and they freaking nailed this. The music, the soundtrack's so good. I just sat there and listened to Firewalk as long as I could.
Yep.
I sat there and listened
I
to
did
Skip's
too.
demo. Anytime they give you an option to listen to a song, I listen to the whole song.
I didn't get to listen to Skip's demo. I don't know how I missed that as an option, but when you looked at the percentages, 49% of people listened to his demo, and then told him that they liked his demo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
0 people told him they didn't. Or 1% told him they
1%.
didn't like it, and then the other 50% like me just didn't listen to it. So I don't know if I like missed that
You
option in
talked
the
to him
conversation
twice.
or what.
You have to talk to him as you enter the schoolyard for the first time, and like you go over and he's like, "Oh,
He's like
Chloe,
the
how's it
janitor
going?"
guy.
Yeah.
He's the
Sure,
security
fun.
guard. He's not a janitor.
Security. Well, same.
Did speaking of things that you could totally freaking miss, did any of you play the D&D game?
Yes.
Did you play it all the way through?
Yes, I did.
Did you win?
Yes.
No,
Oh no.
I failed.
So 76% of people finished the game, 24% did not. How could you not? Man, it just grabs you and it pulls you in.
That was so cool.
That was so
That was-
cool.
Yeah.
Kudos, Deck 9.
I really, really, really loved that moment. I thought that
so
was
good.
so well done, and just so I was like, I kind of want them to just make more of these? Like just
Make that as like a
breakouts?
standalone mini game.
I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
Before the Storm has a lot of these really great, excellent moments that you can so easily miss, and that's what makes you want to spend more time in it and dig around in it a little bit more. And I
Yes.
just think that's so good.
Okay, speaking of this isn't speaking of anything, we haven't talked about this. Knowing what comes in the future games, did you sabotage Victoria's homework?
Totally.
No.
Yes,
I
I
did not.
sabotaged.
53% of people did not.
Well, here's
She's
the
a bitch.
She is mean,
She
and
is.
she's always a mean girl. Even with what happens in Life is Strange, she's still mean.
She
She's
is. Nothing
still
changes.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, you have a moment of sympathy for her, like near the end of that game because of what happens to her.
Right.
But like at this, it doesn't make her a better person.
No,
No.
she's
You
still a
know?
crap head.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
Also,
bad, but-
what about Nathan?
Oh, I totally went after that little weenie.
Did you defend Nathan? Did you stay out of the fight?
I stayed out of the fight and let him get ripped.
I defended him
Okay.
because
Him
I
as well.
think that deep down there's still some good in Chloe, and that like her mom is shining through and would have been like, "Hey, you should help."
Okay.
But
So,
that being said, I
got
don't
the
know how
stat.
much it helped.
So the thing, 13% of people stayed out of the fight. 87% defended. So what
I'm a
went down?
dick.
And I stayed out of it too. I was like, "Fuck you! You kill me someday." So
Yeah.
what?
But it's not him.
It's not him.
Oh, fuck,
No,
you're
no, no,
right.
no, 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 no. It is.
It's butthead teacher.
No, it is Nathan. Because in the beginning of the game, Chloe gets shot.
Yeah,
and at the
Nathan
end of it-
Prescott.
Yeah, Nathan's-
Okay,
Okay,
sorry,
thank
yeah.
you.
Sorry,
I
I
was like,
forgot about that.
shit.
You're
What do
right.
you mean?
You're
Okay.
right.
I was like, I feel bad. So what happened when you defended him?
So basically, it just goes into a back talk. So and
Yeah.
you back talk the other guy. I forgot his name.
Who is
it's
Mikey's
that
older
Mikey's
brother,
older
right?
brother, so and so.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
And
NFL jock guy. I
yeah,
don't know.
and
He's
so
the
you back
football
talk
player.
him to the
Jock
point where
guy.
he backs off and goes away.
Oh, okay.
And of course, everyone picked up on Nathan's they're teasing him because he has dark, perverted, like a perverted portfolio.
Yeah.
So yes,
That's-
foreshadowing.
That's
yeah.
like the seed of his kookiness.
Okay. Let's talk about Rachel.
Okay,
Okay.
let's do it.
Did you tell Rachel you were more than just friends?
Yes.
Oh, totally.
Yes. She's really cute.
She's
I don't want to be like I'm slightly attracted to like an underage video game character.
Yeah, but you can say that because I think we all feel a little bit of a.
I just
She's
feel like
she's a waifu. She's totally waifu material.
Okay.
their connection does feel more like a friendship, and it's similar to how I felt when I first played Left Behind from The Last of Us. And even though they'd never mentioned where this relationship was going to go, immediately as I saw them, I was like, what? Wait a minute. Is there like a thing here? And then like later on the kiss, and you're like, oh my God, it's a thing. Like that's how I feel with them.
Wait, you got a kiss?
In The
Last of Us Left Behind.
Last of Us Left
Oh,
Behind.
I was
not
like-
in this one, not in this
I
one.
was like, wait a minute. Chloe never
no,
kisses
no.
Rachel in this episode.
No.
If there's a smooch, Steimer will find it.
so
Oh, yeah.
71% of people told Rachel that they are more than friends. 29% said you are just friends.
It's tough because when you think about female relationships at that age, I think, at least from speaking from my own experience, I was so much closer in a physical way with my friends than I am today. And I'm not quite sure why that is. Like, I used to like snuggle in bed with my friends. We used to like,
We're all weird adults
I
now.
currently
I know, we like
snuggle
all
with
want our.
Brittany all
I think
of
we
the
all just
time.
want our personal space now. We're like,
We're
I'm
done
old.
snuggling.
I need
We're old
space.
adults.
But so
Curmudgeons.
I think when I originally saw the relationship like budding between Chloe and Rachel, to me, like that kind of body language and signaling immediately was like romance. But thinking back on it, like at that age, I had super intimate relationships with my female friends, but we weren't like we weren't planning on hooking up. Like
No,
it was
right.
literally just friendship. It was
You're
platonic.
young women in like this crazy world. A lot of shit's going down. Because I was the same way. I would link arms with my friends, hug. Oh my God, and just
I still feel
It
like
was
that's a
comforting.
different energy than what they are trying to
Yeah.
communicate through
yeah,
here.
absolutely. Okay. Did you share your earbuds with Rachel?
Yes.
2% of assholes did not.
What buttholes?
Yeah.
2%.
Who's sitting with somebody
And then
in like a
Spencer,
space where there's nobody else, and you're like, bye, Felicia. You know, you
Right,
put your
especially somebody you're
headphones in.
trying to impress, you're like concerned about,
Yeah,
and
for
then you're
real.
like, goodbye forever.
Goodbye
Listen
forever.
up, 2%.
I know.
What?
Dicks.
2% of people
What?
don't know how to engage with social
What?
interactions.
All right, just a few more. Did you tell Rachel that falling in love is stupid? Or
Yes.
or did you tell her that you believe in love?
I told her it was stupid
I
because
told
I
her it
felt
was
like that was
stupid.
true to who
That was
Chloe
too
is
low.
in
Yeah,
this moment.
57% of people did that as well. Did you jump out of the train?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
5% of people did not.
I
curious-
almost
what do you
didn't
mean?
because I was like, bitch is saying jump and I'm saying okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was a little scared that I would do that and then get like a "you died" Dark Souls screen or something. I was like, is this a trick?
No,
No.
it wasn't a
So
trick.
I
It's
wonder
not
what
a trick.
happens if you don't. And maybe you like get
How
forced
funny
out.
would it be
You,
if
like
it's
run
like,
over a rock and you tumble?
she's still on the train right now.
Goodbye.
Going.
Credits
So
roll.
somebody from the 5% let us know.
Yeah, let us know how that went down. Okay, so those are all the choices.
I'm assuming she would
That
drag
wasn't
you
all the
off
choices.
train.
Those are the choices that were those are the choices that were on
The
here.
game that the game shows you at
In
the
the
end.
game.
No, there's like a whole other page of choices, isn't there?
Yeah,
read
there's like
through
a
'em.
bajillion million.
That was it.
No, it can't be it.
Well, that's what they give you at the end of the game. You attacked the guy. You attacked the guy. You were nice or mean to Joyce. You defended Nathan. You told Rachel you're more than
Oh.
friends. Like, and then there's like these lists of these sub ones that I already read too.
The other page you're thinking of is like your relationship standing with all of the characters, right?
Maybe. I mean, because that only takes you through like, I mean, that's like there's so much more that happens after that.
But I don't think there's necessarily choices to be made. in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I don't think those are pivotal plot points.
I guess that's true. How did you guys? What did you guys think about the scene with the couple where you steal the wine?
that was
I
really
actually
funny.
really
That
liked
was great.
There are a lot of moments, like now as we're sitting here talking, like there were a lot of moments where I was like, this is pretty funny. Like I enjoy this a lot. So what happens is there's a couple and you're trying to steal this wine from them. So Rachel, ever the actress, decides to go in front of them and faint and be like, oh, woe is me. And you okay there, Britt? And then like as you like try and sneak up to grab the wine, they're like, hey, you should be helping.
And then you have to like backtalk your way out of like
I fucked that one up.
trying to like
Oh,
stall
you did?
enough
What happened
to,
when you
to get the
messed it
wine.
up?
They're like, I think you girls are pulling our legs.
Then you grab the
Oh.
wine and you go.
And Rachel's like, run! And then we ran and all as
Oh.
well.
No, I successfully did it and it was amazing.
I
So
also
good.
successfully did it too. It was interesting because they really play off the dynamic of Chloe trying to impress Rachel on like their first date
Yeah.
thing, whatever, their first hangout session as a duo. And you know, Rachel instantly is like, why am I still sober? Which I think is like a door open to like some character development they're going to do with her later on, and kind of pegging Chloe as like the misfit kid who's always doing drugs or drinking, and being like, oh, I'm hanging out with Chloe Price and we haven't done any drugs yet. And you know, you kind of feel for Chloe in that moment to go like, well, the reason Chloe is, you know, using substances is to kind of dull her world because she's in so much pain from, you know, what's happened at home with her mom and this new boyfriend and the death of her dad
And the abandonment of her friend, her best
Yep.
friend.
Yeah.
yeah, like this. Oh man, can we talk about that for a second?
Those
Yeah.
letters to Max in her diary are gutting.
Oh, they're
Oh,
so
it's
sad.
rough, man. She's just like super salty about
So
it.
can you remind me, someone, what was Max's excuse?
Max's parents got a job in Seattle or something.
No. So the
she-
excuse is that the address like got messed up and all of her letters didn't make it
But
to
the text
Chloe.
messaging is what I'm.
Oh,
Dude,
Oh,
I don't
texting,
even
I
think
don't
there
know.
was a text. It was crazy and so well done about the text message thread. Is that I have a thread like that from a friend on my phone.
Oh, we all do.
right
Yeah.
now. So like, if you haven't spent the time to actually dig in and read all of the individual text messages, also, why haven't you done that? Do that.
Wait, remind me because I don't remember. Which...
So basically, it's like if you look at the dates that go back and forth between Chloe and Max, it's like Chloe saying like, "Hey, woman, like, what are you doing?" And like a day or two later, it's Max being like, "Oh, sorry, I was busy," and then nothing, and then Chloe sending like 2 or 3 messages, and then like maybe like a month or two later,
Oh.
Max being like, "Sorry, you know how life is, blah blah blah," and I'm like, there's always that friend who you think that you're so close with that you just want to reach out to and you just want to talk to, and you want to be in your life, and they just cannot be bothered to make the time for you. And you see that in this relationship.
Yeah.
And it really kind of struck me in like a visceral way that I was like, fuck, man.
So
That happens.
Yeah.
It's like real life stuff there where people just can't be bothered calling. They can't text you. They won't email you. And no matter what you do, you're just like losing that person from your life. And
Yeah.
that's where Chloe is in this moment.
Totally. And I now as you're saying that, I'm like, I kind of wonder if she backpedaled and was like, oh, letters got lost because she knew she was moving back. Like,
I
what-
don't remember this letters
So
got lost.
this
thing
is
you're
the
referring
very
to.
end of the episode.
Okay.
Like one of the last things is that there's a note from Max, and it's like, Chloe, hey, you won't believe it, I'm moving back, and oh my God, all the letters that I've been sending you, they just haven't come through, and like I'd never forget about you, blah de blah.
Oh.
And
Where was that letter? I think I missed it.
I can't remember, but I remember reading that and being like, oh snap. It's just like they're already setting her coming back up. Like I knew this was only 3 episodes, but I didn't realize like how quick it's gonna go. And now I'm waiting to see Butthead Teacher come, maybe probably in episode 2.
Butthead teacher.
Butthead Teacher.
Isn't the special episode, if you buy like the special edition, it's a mini episode about Max leaving?
Oh really?
Like it's Chloe and Max.
That
I
sounds
think so.
familiar.
It's called
I
like
don't
The
know.
Goodbye or something.
Oh.
We'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
Anyway.
But yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, so I just like it. I think what Deck 9 has done and picked up kind of where Don't Nod, opened the door for looking at and analyzing these relationships between the cast, particularly the females between, Chloe and Max in the first game and now Chloe and Rachel in this game, is it really, they're doing an excellent job not of only like kind of like capturing what that's like for so many of us being that age, but also really setting up why Chloe is so angry at
Yes.
Max at the beginning of the original Life is
Yeah.
Strange. And what's really hard now is that now that we've gotten to meet Rachel and we've gotten to kind of see into her world and kind of see what is drawing Chloe into her, and I know that they're only going to develop that further. Even the little glance that you get from Frank as he's rescuing them
Yeah.
from the skeevy dudes and seeing like, oh, I see where that relationship between Frank and Rachel is going to blossom into, from the photos that you get in the
I
first
forgot
game.
about that.
And like where that's going to go, I hope that obviously they're going to explore that more, but makes it even a little bit more gutting knowing what happens to Rachel in the second
Oh, I
game, in
know.
the
Yeah.
first game. And
So-
I'm just like, setting it up for that makes me like so sad in a way.
Especially when you're on the train car and she's like, I want to move to, is it New York? Or she wants to move to somewhere and become an actress.
LA?
in LA,
No.
yeah.
No, she wants to go to New York
Oh, wherever it is.
to
She
be
wants
to be on Broadway.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, she has all these dreams. It's like, ugh. But here's the thing. I can't help, and maybe I'm just picking up on it because I'm looking for it. I feel like Rachel is just a little too coincidental. I feel like she knows things, and it's like, how do you know these things? Like she won't tell Chloe why. I don't know. She has a secret. We don't know what that is. Do you think she has powers? Do you think?
Oh, good.
she
I was waiting for someone to bring this
Do you
up.
think she has anything at all?
She 100%
She's got-
has powers.
It was really the last one of the last moments that you
So-
see with her.
yeah,
is very
so
supernatural.
in the last she sets a photo on fire, and then the photo sets this tree into just,
she
just,
sets
like,
a garbage
stunning
can-
lit-
a
garbage can on
yeah.
fire.
So
She
leading
kicks-
up to the fire, though, she sees her dad making out with a woman
woman.
who is, we don't know who this woman is. Chloe kind of has to coax out of her why she's upset. They're looking in the viewfinder, playing a stupid game, and then all of a sudden Rachel gets upset. And then, we start to hear a little bit about, Rachel's life. And then she talks about this photo that she's carried around with her about her and her dad. She's like, why do I even have this? Like, I feel so betrayed. And then Chloe, do you have a lighter? Chloe presents lighter. She goes, and meanwhile, before that, there was like a kid at the school who was doing a sign up to prevent like wildfires. So that kind of
Yup.
like foreshadows and plays into like this idea that there's going to be a fire, and now here we are.
And fire walk, and Chloe constantly talking about fire.
Fire.
And now they've set this photo on fire, and then they throw it in the garbage can. And I'm like, why would you do that? That seems like a terrible idea.
Well, it's at least contained until she kicks it over.
yeah.
And then she screams and like wind bellows out. It's like
She screams, and the sound that comes out of her
Yeah.
mouth is
Is
like this
weird.
banshee shriek.
It
It
is,
really
yeah.
is. Yeah.
And if you notice when she screams, like the wind picks up, but if you look at the way that the wind is drawn and like the curls of wind, it's the same way that the storm is drawn in Life is Strange. That big
Yeah.
tornado that's like on its way to destroy Arcadia Bay.
So does Chloe? Am I making this up? Because it's been a few weeks since I played it. Does Chloe? Not Chloe. Does Rachel say, Chloe, I can't be your friend right now, and I can't tell you why? Did she say something like that?
She
yeah,
she
she,
walks
says
out
I
of the-
can't
out of
do
the
this, and I
junkyard.
can't do this.
I'm sorry. So I can't. It just seems weird. I'm not saying that Rachel has like foreshadowing abilities or what's the word I'm looking for? We can see to the future. But it's like she just kind of like shows up and she's like, I'm gonna befriend you, Chloe, and we're gonna do awesome things together. And if she's like this girl that has everything, why does she need a Chloe? Maybe we'll learn. And she's saying weird things like, I can't tell you, you know, I don't know. And she's a banshee screecher. Something's up with her. I think she has some clue of what's gonna go down.
So
I have an idea.
I 100% think Rachel has powers, and I think her needing Chloe is because the powers that she has are not something that she can use herself to get what she wants. Like, I think her powers,
like a genie.
well, no, I think
Just
her
kidding.
powers are like a little more like I manipulate people and things into doing what I want them to do. As in, everyone loves her. She's a star student. Like, people are tripping over themselves to like the drama teacher compliments her. Chloe is like instantly in love with her, and I think that her powers are foreshadowed by the way that Life is Strange Before the Storm is using the Shakespeare play The Tempest.
So tell me about The Tempest. I've read a lot of Shakespeare, but I do not remember this one.
So the plot of The Tempest is Prospero, the like rightful ruler of this land, gets shoved out of this land by his brother and exiled with his daughter Miranda to an island. And on the island, the only thing he brought with him were a bunch of books. So he reads all these books and becomes this like powerful sorcerer. And he lives there with his daughter and a spirit, Ariel, that willingly does his bidding. And Caliban, the leader of some tribe on the island, that he's basically made his thrall and is bullying him around. And Caliban, throughout the whole play, is like talking about like, I want to kill Prospero, like talking about doing evil to him and how he's stuck because of Prospero. And Prospero finds out that his enemies, including his brother and his brother's son, are on a boat nearby his island. So he summons the Tempest, shipwrecks everyone, and they end up on the island. And Ferdinand, the son of, I think it's like his brother's son or something, I forget the actual relation, but this boy Ferdinand comes and falls in, and like sees Miranda, and Prospero sort of orchestrates them falling in love, but then pulls back and doesn't want them to fall in love too fast, and then finally is like, okay, sure, and then like really gets them to like hook up and fall in love with each other. And Caliban convinces a drunken sailor who he thinks is a god to help him try and kill Prospero, and then Ariel, the spirit, goes and kind of like fucks with everyone. So everything that happens on this island and on these relationships that form and break and these people that are in thrall are all because of Prospero. He is like the Tempest maker. He's the person who's in control. And in Life is Strange Before the Storm, they're putting on the play The Tempest, and Rachel is playing Prospera. So she's playing a gender bent version of Prospero. And the way that you can see that she has, you know, all these people like falling for her, like doing her bidding, and Nathan plays Caliban. So he's already playing her thrall, and Caliban wants to kill Prospero and plots to usurp him, and Nathan is the person who eventually kills Rachel. So we already see like that dynamic sort of foreshadowed with the Tempest.
Ooh, that's fascinating.
And like everything about Before the Storm is connected to the Tempest. The titles of the episodes are references to quotes. Awake is from a monologue. I have this open here. It's from a monologue from Miranda to Prospero. Awake, dear heart, awake. Thou hast slept well, awake. So this is Chloe waking up and being like, oh, like there's more to life than all these terrible things that have happened to me. Brave New World, the second episode, Brave New World, that has such people in it. Like, this is clearly an ensemble play, so, and an ensemble cast. So all these people are coming together around Chloe, around Rachel. And then the last one, Hell is Empty, is a very, very often quoted Hell is empty and all the devils are here.
Yes, I remember that.
So everything is sort of built around the Tempest. And if you think of Rachel as Prospero and as organizing these relationships, think about the original Life is Strange. Chloe and Max become friends over the mystery of like what happened to Rachel, and that mystery sort of bonds them together because Max has offered to use her powers to help Chloe sort of figure out what happened to her. So she is this spell maker and this weaver of things, and I don't think it's hard to believe that her power creates that butterfly effect, because the butterfly was the big thing in the time travel thing, and I think she has the power to either create storms or create wind or something, and her choices and what she does winds up that storm.
Drop your
And
mic. I want
drop
your
my
babies.
mic. And then there's like the whole symbolism with the raven as like a harbinger of bad news. If you're in the scene where Chloe is dreaming and in the car with her father, there's a Tempest poster sitting in the seat in front of her, and you see Rachel as Prospera, Nathan as Caliban, and between them is what looks like Chloe with a raven's head over her eyes covering her face. And then you see the raven show up when Chloe's like sort of in important moments where you're like, this is a moment where I should remember. The only thing I can't, because I like thought about The Tempest and I thought about Life is Strange, and I'm trying to make all of these parallels. And the one thing I can't seem to guess at is who the woman at the end of the episode sitting watching the tree burn and smoking and smiling. We don't see the top of her face, but that's clearly the woman that was with her father in the scene, because you can see the tattoo on her arm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm trying to see, is there anything in The Tempest that can maybe foreshadow who she is, what's going on? I don't know. I did a lot of crazy research.
That
about
was
this.
amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
No, it's really interesting. And like Life is Strange had its great allusions to like Twin Peaks and other stuff. But like Before the Storm really, really, really plays into allusions to The Tempest. And I love that shit.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fascinating. I actually was part of the sound crew on The Tempest in high school, but I didn't pick up any of that.
It's a tragic,
Shakespeare
it's
is
a tragic
dense,
comedy.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like not totally bad.
No, I just meant like I didn't connect the two, like make all these connections
Yeah.
that you just made. I didn't even think about it.
I'm interested to see how, like, specifically the relationship between Rachel and Nathan and how that plays out, because Caliban like does interact with Prospero a lot, and then in the end Caliban gets his comeuppance and he gets freed actually, but it's not in a positive way. It's like all these bad things happened and now he's free. And like at the end of the original Life is Strange, Mr. Jefferson gets whatever, and Nathan is kind of like free to stop. He's no longer in this dark cycle, and he can sort of go because I would think he reveals like Jefferson pressured him or something, so he can go. So it's interesting how Deck 9 has sort of taken Life is Strange and tried to fit that in with this, and then sort of built out from it, which is
Brilliant.
so freaking cool.
Oh. Woo. Man,
That was deep.
super excited for
I was a
episode
Shakespeare
2.
master.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
They told us at PAX West that they're planning about 10 weeks between episodes, so we're not due. Yeah, so we're not due for episode 2 probably until December.
What the heck?
If you think about it, maybe November, mid-November at the
Yeah.
earliest would be my guess.
Come on, Deck 9.
So we'll see exactly what's gonna happen. I think it's intriguing that they've made it 3 episodes instead of 5. I think that means they'll take out some fluff, because we agreed talking about the first season that they probably could have shaved it down to 4 episodes.
that David Lynchian like stealth dream scene.
was-
Like
They
get
have
outta
confirmed to
here.
me there was no stealth in Before the Storm.
keep my Lynch out of this.
Yeah, ladies, any parting final thoughts about Awake, about episode 1?
No.
Good.
I want all of them so that I can judge them better.
Give me all
It's
of
hard to
them.
judge a piece of a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Soon.
Soon, TM.
Please sooner than
Soonish.
soon, please.
We probably won't get the finale until next year.
I was about to say that would be next year,
Barf.
and that's kind of a bummer, but
Yeah.
that's fine, I guess. Maybe.
The nature of cliffhangers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not super surprising.
No.
But thank you everyone for hanging with us through our spoiler cast of Before the Storm episode 1, Awake. I think we should do this for each episode. I think
Let's
it'd be
do it.
fun.
Yeah.
I'll take screenshots of my choices next time.
Do
Same.
it.
To
Yeah.
make sure I can see. But if you guys want to get involved with what we're doing here on What's Good Games, of course, you can visit us on what'sgoodgames.com. You can get involved with our social media channels. I'm trying to think of what we have coming up soon besides XPO. It's really like that's the closest thing.
Then after that, it's Game Awards.
Game Awards,
PlayStation
PSX.
Experience.
Yeah, Steimer and I might be making an appearance at BlizzCon.
Ooh.
But yeah, if you're going to be in New York at New York Comic Con, Alexa Ray and I will be wandering around.
Let's go buy shit.
Yeah, let's buy some nerdy stuff. I'm into it. So text us, come find us if you see us on the show floor. Come say hi. We'll be carrying around our What's Good Games pins. If you would like to buy one, yeah, it'll be great. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. And once again, if you have not yet rated or subscribed to our show, we absolutely love it. Do that. Maybe make that your review. Thanks, everyone. We love you. Bye.